a room. All right. So, not until the end. All right, so we are now approaching round 3, which is the Moo Man question.
Different from last time.
We've updated it for Halloween.
I like it.
It was storming and mooning. There was so much thunder. Did you even hear the moo at the end?
I did.
Okay, good. Because it's the Moo Man question. All right, so the Moo Man question is chosen specifically for each debate, and tonight's Moo Man question is: to be the most nightmare-inducing serial killer, you must induce nightmares. Describe a hypothetical nightmare featuring your candidate. Be creative. All right, so let us bore into the deep of your psyche and tell me a nightmare involving Jason Voorhees. 2 minutes, begin.
Okay, everyone. I want you to join me now and allow your minds to sleep and fall deep into slumberland, where you find yourself surrounded by all your friends. And yes, it's back in those halcyon days of being at camp with everyone. And you're just having a great time. You get to hang around the campfire, sing songs, roast marshmallows, and nothing could be better. Until
What camp did you go to?
Until suddenly, sitting at the campfire, you hear the screams off in the distance, and you realize that Billy and Susie went out there to try to get laid, and of course, one of their heads comes tumbling in towards the light.
Which one of his heads?
You run and try to escape, hearing the sounds of your friends being cut down until you find yourself trapped at the side of the lake where Jason's figure runs towards you, raises his machete, and just as he brings it down, you wake up and you're in your bed. Oh my God, you're safe at home in the big city, in New York, where you can be safe knowing that you have New York's finest protecting you anywhere you need to go. But of course, as you walk out the door, again, you see that figure bowling down towards you, machete raised, cutting people in half as he runs towards you. You try to get away, but of course, you're stopped again. And as he brings out his machete a second time, you wake and find yourself, of course, in the safest place you could be, as far away from camp, as far away from New York. You're in the middle of motherfucking space! And of course, as you come out of your cryo slumber, what greets you? No, not the robotic servant that you always wanted to have, but rather that same machete, slicing you from head to toe. Over and over you wake. There is no escape. There is no way to get away. There is no way to kill and stop him. Jason will hunt you down and kill you. And that is your nightmare forever.
Don't you hate it when you wake up from your cryo tube and you see a 1980s slasher horror killer there?
It's the worst, man. It's the worst.
Yeah, I know. The only thing worse is waking up to that damn Planet of the Apes. All right, so going over to the nerds, please describe for me a hypothetical or factual nightmare about Dr. Hannibal Lecter. Begin.
Here's the thing. I don't have to have a hypothetical nightmare, since Lecter was a frequent specter in my own nightmares after I saw this movie far too young. But then again, the fevered nightmares of an 11-year-old girl with an active imagination that featured lamps, moths, blood, lotion, angels, and Sir Anthony Hopkins might be a little too much for this show, so let's go ahead.
You haven't seen this show before.
With the hypothetical. It would be one of those real dreams, the ones you're really not sure if you're sleeping or not. I'm dressed in a blood-red dress, seated at an impeccably decorated table. Stravinsky, being played delicately by a string quartet in the corner, and my fellow guests chatting jovially. However, I can't shake that uneasy sense that something is wrong. Waiters appear and begin to serve the entrees, beautifully plated dishes with roasted vegetables and meat that's perfectly cooked. I can't quite detect the animal, but eat nonetheless, with its delectable flavor. The scene switches, and now I'm dancing with a man, not imposing, but charming and strong, as he sweeps me across the dance floor.
Please tell me it's David Bowie.
He leans in. Did you enjoy your meal? He asks with a soft voice. I look into his dark eyes, the uneasy feeling flooding back into me. I did. It was delicious. He smiles, a smile too wide to be charming. I'm so glad. Chianti? Which of course is when I would wake up, sweaty and confused and terrified, for reasons that I couldn't quite explain. It would fade, eventually, but then an invitation for a dinner party would appear in my inbox, and my heart would start racing all over again. It was just a dream, wasn't it?
Dun, dun, dun! Inception route. I don't mean disappointing, I mean... Alright, so, we are on to round 4, which is, I guess, has to be brains versus bronze. It's who would win in a fight?
Oh, Jesus.
So, let us hear first from Team Geek. How would Jason Voorhees destroy Hannibal Lecter? Begin.
Strength is going to obviously prevail here, and also, you know, he's got that reach. I mean, Jason's about 7 foot tall. The machete makes it another 7 foot long.
That's a long machete.
Well, you know,
That's right. He's a magician. He doesn't do math.
you know, I'm a guy. I think everything is 7 foot long. Anyway, so sheer strength alone, he can prevail.
And not just strength, but we were mentioning the fact that Hannibal has human weaknesses. I mean, first of all, he gets maimed, he gets his hand chopped off, that's not growing back. Whereas Jason can get blown up, comes back, and is still there to kill you. On top of that, there's another thing that Jason has over Hannibal, and that's a little thing that I like to call time. Hannibal is an old man. Jason just hangs back, 10, 15 years, and Hannibal is going to drop dead of old age. Whereas Jason will be haunting us in the far-off future. What was that, 2010?
2010! That's right, folks!
You know, that's the other thing, not to get into the macabre, but it's, of course, reaching on Halloween here. Just physical attributes, when somebody bleeds out, they die. Jason has never, well, that we know of from the movies, bled out and died. So if they were to tussle and Jason was to rip off one of Hannibal's arms, he would just bleed out and die. It's a physical thing here. And you know, also, we don't know that Jason can be reasoned with. People have tried to talk to him, and so he can't be shrunk by Hannibal.
Exactly. Hannibal would sit there and try to trick Jason into falling for his mind games, and Jason would put Hannibal through his own version of mind games, which is separating your brain from the rest of your body.
And if Hannibal managed to stop him for a short period of time, not to worry, he would be coming back in the sequel to hunt Hannibal down and kill him.
I think it's
There is no sequel if Hannibal dies.
Well, I just have to go for a prequel, or I guess a shitty remake.
All right! Let's get scratched out for Gets low blows in the end there, Brent. All right, so how would Hannibal Lecter defeat Jason Voorhees, nerds? I am very curious. 2 minutes, please begin.
Let's be honest, you guys. In a man-to-man fight, it's no contest. We're well aware of that, but then again, so would Lecter be. Now, let's say Hannibal would just never enter into a fight against Jason unprepared. I think we all know that he wouldn't engage Jason unless he knew he could win. So he would arrive at Camp Crystal Lake, finding Jason and his tactics extremely gauche. He, knowing what Lecter does of Jason's history, the good doctor would convince one of the lovely ladies at the camp to dress up as Pamela Voorhees. Jason would stumble into a trap, see his mother alive and well again, and be confused. I mean, you guys, if it worked for Corey Feldman, I think it will work for Hannibal Lecter. Hannibal would then seize the opportunity and knock out the big lug. And then set to what he does best. Oh, that's right, drain him of his blood, chop him up into little pieces, and then start cooking. Let's see, simmering, perhaps? Yes? Some shallots? Maybe a bit of sherry, do you think? Worcestershire sauce?
Carrots.
Makes me hungry over
Sure, carrots. Let's throw that on. And I don't know, serve it to the ravenous hordes of teenagers at Camp Crystal Lake. He would save the heart, of course, for himself, and unlike silly morgue attendants, it would not hypnotize the dear doctor, for he is pretty psychopathic on his own and not susceptible to such ridiculous plot things. And then
30 seconds.
Lecter would just leave the camp sated and fade back into the world, content that his work was complete.
All right.